Welcome to a Drop 10 Media Production.
Hello and welcome to the Magical Misery Tour, where funny people discuss life's unfunniest things. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. Neil Wood. Neil, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, dude. It's good to see you.
You're at the table. It's strange.
I know. It's
You've
weird.
come down from your ivory throne to join us mere mortals.
I mean, every times I've been up there, we're just like gross pants, like shorts, just like crappy tea, like I haven't brushed my teeth or anything. Just
Oh, yeah.
I don't need to be on camera. No one gives a shit.
This has nothing to do with Neil being in the helm. He just wants to live in his own filth and not be judged for it on camera.
It does feel good to do that.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here with you, to be honest.
Yeah?
It's kind of a privilege.
It's pretty cool that it's me and you.
I think it's, yeah.
This is number 50.
We've been through a lot. I think there's a lot have happened over these years.
Yeah.
It's regardless. I come down from my throne to be amongst you peasants.
Mm-hmm.
You fucking piece of shit.
So before we start, I have a gift for you. So from my lovely, lovely girlfriend, Perry, she made
this will be judged harshly because she is new.
Peach preserves jam made herself with vegan love, which is the gassiest love.
This is all the blood of the infants I want.
Exactly.
I love the brain matter that you've brought me. I will smell it here on the air.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta be honest.
Make sure the mic is catching that smell.
What's that? Dude, this is rich with fetus.
It's really good.
This is good.
You should taste it.
No, this is good.
You can taste the miscarriage.
That's good fetus.
That's good
fresh,
fetus.
That is
right
fresh
there.
fucking fetus, dude. She must have got this from her last miscarriage. That's good.
Right. So, if you
That's
ever
tasty.
need tasty fetus, you just hit up Jesse's girlfriend, who I will leave unnamed for this
Yes,
episode.
thank you.
That's
Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry, yeah.
Excited to sit down, have a Saturday drink with you.
Same, buddy.
Because some shit's gone down.
Since the last time we have met, I have watched a man die.
Yes, which I have. I'm sorry that I did not know that you had not been there when a relative has passed.
I have never physically been there. I have never stumbled upon. Well, technically, I still haven't stumbled upon. I was here for the transition.
Sure.
Yeah. Went from he, him to then.
Right.
Past tense.
Yeah.
So, but
I've never. You fill them in because I can't take another second of time without having a vape in my hand. So I will.
Gotcha.
I will but fill them in. The camera's on you. I bid you adieu for a brief moment.
So if you listen to last week's episode, you know I received a few calls from my mother. Pretty much what happened is my stepfather, Kenny, him and my mom were divorced, but he was the father of my brothers, so therefore he was my stepfather still. He had beaten cancer a few years ago, but he had a lot of complications after the fact, never quite healed right. They put him on a colostomy bag. He had gone in about 3 weeks ago, for a cosmetic procedure.
That's the fun bag.
That's right. Went back for a cosmetic procedure, get his tits done. We figured it was time. Now, his stoma and his colostomy bag was like a
also
Hollywood...
stoma. Easy Polish grandmother, right? Is that not a Polish grandmother? I know that's what you guys call your Polish grandmother.
It's the stoma, the stoma and the poopy. Stoma and poopy are here. You're getting spankings.
It's a Polish mistress. It is terrifying.
Oh, yeah, no, that's the Polish gumar.
Yeah. I also don't know what it is. What is it?
You don't know what a gumar?
I don't know what a gumar is.
A gumar is that you're so not Italian.
I am so not
It's
Italian.
the Italian side piece.
Oh.
Hey, where's Frankie?
First of all,
he's out with his gumar.
I'm from a respectable trash Italian family, all right? We don't We don't go outside the, we don't mistresses. Who do you think we are? It's Hamilton, New Jersey. If you had a mistress, everyone would know.
True, yeah.
There's no way to have a mistress.
There's no small town mistresses unless everybody.
You got to go to Acco, New Jersey, the town over, in order to have sex with your Gumar.
I didn't realize you guys were that close to Acco.
Yeah, I mean, it's a short drive down the White Horse Pike, baby.
Oh, baby.
Ooh.
I worked on the White Horse Pike for several years. Soprano's Pizza, Somerdale, New Jersey.
Oh, yes, of course. That trashy.
Fucked the boss's daughter.
Ew.
And she was 42.
Wait, sorry. Sorry.
My boss was an older gentleman.
Yeah, no, I understood that. I hope. No, he was only 24, actually.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very weird scenario.
Time paradox. He was a time cop, and he had a Gumar and another, back in back in the 60s. Oh, God.
So you're putting your finger inside of your stepdad's little hole in which he poops out of. Is that where we left the story off?
That is a stoma, yeah.
Right, it's
a poop hole in your stomach.
Gotcha, it's the poop hole.
He went in to get a cosmetic surgery that would get it pulled in a little bit because, like I said, it was
a nip, a tuck, a little,
It was puckering out as if like Angelina Jolie was like tucked behind his.
Stop it right now.
If Angelina Jolie pooped out of her mouth, that was coming out of my stepdad's stomach.
It's just like a weird Hawaiian volcano out of the side of him. I'm fucking disgusted by it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just like out. Just, hey, what's that?
Just like an anal prolapse way earlier in the digestive tract. But they put him on a medication to help him sleep. This was like the day before surgery.
Opioids.
And they didn't have a heart monitor on him, which I was pissed off because every time I went to visit him, wasn't on a heart monitor.
How did they not have a heart monitor? They had a heart monitor on me.
Because he was there waiting for surgery. He wasn't in like a bad place, they thought. But vomited in his sleep, his heart stopped. They went in, they did CPR, and they got it beating again. They got him on life support, but they didn't know how much damage had been done because they didn't know how long he'd been in there. We go in to visit, my whole family, and they say, what we're going to do is we're going to take him out of the coma because it's medically induced at this point, and we're going to give him a CAT scan. And if that looks good, if that doesn't show any damage, we'll move on to an MRI, which will give us a little bit of a better idea. Like, okay. So we find out, like, hey, CAT scans show 0 damage. Like, fuck yeah.
This is the dawning of the, what is it, Aquarius?
Age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius.
Man, you're like, come on, buddy.
Exactly.
Come on, Kenny, there's more Bud Light to drink.
Exactly. Yes, he was a Budweiser classic. He drank Bud Light, too.
I apologize.
Yeah. Get the man's drink right. It only killed him, for God's sake.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that's part of the reason he didn't heal right.
Yeah. He was pouring it into the stoma. That was the issue.
Oh, no. We made the joke during the coma.
Only an ounce.
We made the joke during the coma. Like, before we pull the plug, we should really consider throwing some fucking Budweiser in that IV.
Wouldn't hurt.
He might just fucking Popeye. Yeah, let me at him.
It's kissing muscles.
Just pick my mom up under his arm and just fight the first burly nurse he sees.
Bob, how you doing, doll? It's adorable.
But
it did not happen that way?
No, it did not happen that way. Yeah,
you don't say.
No, we gave him a CAT scan, and all there was a sign that said "Gone fishing." Fatal in most cases.
I wish, as you were saying it, I was like, I wish I would have said that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
The doctor said there was nothing he could do about it. He had the little birds flying in circles around his head, and it seemed to be terminal. So. But no, what fucked up, they did the CAT scan, like, okay, no damage, etc. Like, okay, he's going to pull out of this. We're all in a good mood. A few days later, like, all right, we did the MRI. Like, all right, what's the MRI say? No brain activity.
That's the record scratch. Like,
I thought I'd live to see my 59th birthday.
Yeah.
But then...
this coming of age tale. Kenny's really not gonna make it.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
When a CAT scan reads catatonic.
Fuck you.
It's also sad. So we went from like, oh, we'll get him back to like, oh no, he's going to die.
Also,
very quickly. And we found out the details on that.
Kenny's dead.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Those bastards.
Yeah. Thank you. All right.
It's okay.
We'll continue.
Bam.
South Park. Sorry, buddy.
So he asked, like, well, wait, but you said the CAT scan, looked fine. And this is when they informed us, like, well, they never informed us, actually. What happened was when I was on the...
CAT scans are those little mirrors that they put underneath the cars when they're passing in. They're like, yeah, I mean, it looks good. I don't know. Like, it's really not a...
I immediately called my ex-girlfriend, Anami, episode 34.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you know why? Because... the whole thing was like, oh, well, if he gets through the CAT scan, then,
you were like, Anami, you have barely any brain activity. So, okay, that was mean. You keep going.
Yeah, but there was the thing like, yeah, if the CAT scan looks good, we'll move forward. Like, well, it comes to show out, like, CAT scans don't really show brain damage like that. So I was hoping against hope. I know Anami's had 1,000 MRIs. So I was hoping I would like, do MRIs really show brain activity? And she'd be like, no, you need an EEG for that. And then I could feel good. But she said like, well, she was the one who said like, CAT scans diagnose nothing. Like if he had a fracture in his skull, maybe.
Right. That's right. Because that's... Right. Go ahead. Well, but actually, as you're doing that, I might pull up.
Okay, but also from knowing her, yeah, pull up a scan, let her know what it shows. But from her, I also knew that it was protocol because every time she went in, my mic's been facing the wrong fucking way this whole time.
Facing or facing?
Facing.
That's why yours is facing the wrong. Okay, good.
Yeah, it's okay. I got it. I can still hear myself there.
Jesse.
But
your cat's
not her shit. Whenever she had a brain issue called Chiari malformation, look it up. You probably have it. But whenever she had problems, like an MRI is the only thing that would show it. A CAT scan would never show it. But due to insurance reasons that exist to make people money, anytime you go in to like an emergency room, you have to get a CAT scan first, even if it never shows anything for that particular condition.
Gotcha.
So it seemed like this was much more like just the protocol thing. Like, oh, we need to look at the CAT scan before we do the MRI. And gave us false hope, and then it turned out.
So this is going to be weird probably for everybody, but I'm going to see if I can do this. So you should see for a brief second. Ugh, look at that. You're seeing what we use. And it's super creepy, but then we'll go back to the wide angle. So yeah, that's the veil. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. But I tried my hardest, guys. All right, but we're looking over here. We're looking at an MRI and a
CAT scan.
CAT scan there. And yeah, we're clearly seeing more of a solid mass of the brain. I mean, we're kind of seeing a very high mid-tone, or I'm sorry, low mid-tone brain scan. So that means that, you've got a little bit of dark areas, a lot of very low mid-tone areas for the brain, and then a white exterior, I think, showing kind of the skull, as we imagine. And then you have the MRI, which is actually showing much more subtlety.
Right, it's showing a lot more detail.
Now, did they have to go with an EKG eventually?
That's EKG is the heart. I believe it's EEG. That is for the brain.
Oh, okay.
Or ECG.
I said EKG.
I don't know. But that's the one that actually measures the brain waves.
Gotcha.
Oh, and they did tell us a little bit what they hope to see is in a CAT scan when somebody has been without oxygen.
Every time someone says brainwaves, like a Beach Boys song starts. Wipe out, everybody! Sorry,
dude. I went to Ocean City
recently.
Be silly today, dude. I went to Ocean City.
You're the only person I've talked to today. Have I not told you that? Yes.
No.
It's been a lonely day for Neil.
Oh,
it's
buddy.
Okay. Hey, buddy. It's all good. Let's get into it.
You specifically requested not to be on the show. I'm
excited.
So
did I?
Yeah, you said don't book me on this one.
Are you really? Did I say that to you?
But I mean, that's fine. I have had you on every single one of them.
I know. I hate it.
Although, believe me, I hosted the show just opening like, so what a host normally does is they get the, plays rolling and get us up. But I'm not a good host. Here's how my stepdad died this week. By the way, there's his widow right there.
Fine. Just point at your
mom.
You did this.
Well, I did. I have a longer thing I've already written about the whole thing, but I went with the far more
and we're jumping
stuff.
around. I got. First of all, before we get on it, let's keep going with the thing. So your dad, the testing for the MRI comes back, I'm guessing,
and it shows no brain activity.
No brain activity.
And it turns out one of the things that will show up on CAT scan from time to time that gave them encouragement is if a brain has been without oxygen long enough, it has a bunch of mini strokes, so mini bleeds.
Okay.
And that sometimes shows up on a CAT scan. So they had full encouragement because it didn't show any physical damage. But once they actually looked at blood flow and what was firing, it's like nothing. So the question immediately became like, okay, we're gonna give him a few days for a fighting chance. 'Cause the doctor pretty much said like from what we can see right now, we've taken him off of enough of the coma medication that he should just be coming out of it.
Right.
If he was okay. I learned about a thing called the Glasgow Coma Scale. Have you ever heard of it?
No, I have no idea.
Pretty much, it's 3 categories, and it measures responsiveness on a number scale.
The city? Glasgow?
I think it's probably where it was developed.
Yeah, I guess so.
Unless there's a badass Dr. Glasgow who works in comas.
It's fucking sexy, though.
Surprised he gets as much done as he does with all the comas he's in.
What's the scale? Sorry.
So what it is I think it's basic reflex, pupil reaction, and I don't remember. I think the last one is respiratory.
Okay.
And
so basic reflex. So they're like hitting your knee again. They're like,
exactly.
hey, kids, is knee working? Pupil reflex, right?
Right.
So that means
pupil
like
reflex.
they're looking at good students.
The eyes are.
They're seeing how the students are doing.
Yes.
I'm trying anything here.
The reverse one of that being sensei response.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sensei response is great. I love it.
You gotta break a board with your eyeballs
right.
in a coma because it's the only thing you can do.
You're doing
and then you're a yellow belt.
And then you're a yellow belly. You don't say. Okay.
Yellow belt.
That was. I know. I heard you.
Oh.
I just wanted to say something that was adjacent, but didn't make any sense. Because I already derailed you. Please keep going.
Well, anyway, in these 3 categories, the lowest score you can have in any of them, which is no response, is a 1, which adds up to a 3. My stepdad was a 3 on the Glasgow Coma scale. No response whatsoever. So the choice was made to remove him.
Did you knock on his forehead 3 times?
We tried.
Okay. I'm just saying. Dude. Hey, listen. You're already kind of doubting it, but if you didn't try it, and then you know what I mean, you're just like clank, 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 and then he wakes up, and then you're gonna fucking regret it.
I tried pulling on his ears and blowing in his nostrils. Like,
did that work? No. Nothing. Really, nothing on that. Because that brings me out
not as much.
Most...
He got a little bit of a hard on. So a little bit of a reflex, I guess that can be considered.
I'm surprised you didn't hire somebody. Do they have nurse hose?
I just thought they all were.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Your nursing degree means nothing to me.
That RN is for risky nurses. No, but I'm sorry. Keep going. I apologize.
So
I'm going to keep apologizing for
right. So we determined we were going to remove him from life support. Neither of my brothers wanted to be there. I honestly was okay with that.
Really?
None
of the brothers?
They don't. I'm trying to think how personal to get here because that's their own shit. But no,
you don't have to.
Here's the thing of it is I've been through a lot more of this.
Right.
And I deal with
You're the older.
And, well, not only that, but I deal with emotions better than my brothers because I am the weepy drama fag. If I'm just being...
Jeez, do we need to breathe the... all right, Gad. No, you're right.
The colloquial term. Yeah.
From Belmar, New Jersey. From Belmar, New Jersey. That is apparently...
I'm the emotional one, and therefore I am used to handling my emotions. So we went there. It'll be in a few hours. It'll be a week ago. So Sunday, I went up, and it was his siblings, my mother, his ex-wife, my uncle's wife, and myself. Fuck, I'm trying to think how much to tell. All right, now this is funny in its own way. My uncle is there, but he is like stone face. Doesn't deal with emotion type stuff. He's had a hard life, but he's made a lot of it.
Okay.
He is literally there for the duration, reading the newspaper.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I know. Okay.
Will not acknowledge anything. And
I get that.
That's fine. That's how he processes it.
Yeah.
And then I made the joke a few times of that one line in Braveheart, because again, it was all his sisters and then his ex-wife. And just like, he's a warrior for Christ's sake. The last words he won't hear is the wailing of a woman. They didn't find it that funny.
No, they didn't pick up on that. And the stern man, clearly from like Mad Men in the fucking 50s, in the corner reading a paper, isn't like, that is so funny. Jesse, is that what that's so? I get it. That is so funny. That's not. Yeah, they didn't
And
get
I
it.
have to
That's
admit,
crazy.
it was very hard. I was thinking already ahead to the comics instinct of wanting to make a joke during a terrible time. And already I'm thinking, like, when we pull that plug at some point, I'm going to lean in just like, hey, remember when you made me wash my mouth out with soap in 96?
Such a dick.
Long game. See you on the other side, bitch.
It's like every child would be able to do that. Like forever. I mean, you could always. I mean, if you're. I mean, we hope. Obviously, it's always terrible when a child dies before their parent. Or optimistic.
How bad is that kid?
No, yeah.
The good son? That's a happy ending. That kid needed to die.
Yeah.
Fuck Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. There you go.
He made a band that sang songs about pizza.
It's a problem. No, it's we all don't want that. We all should not.
Look
have
up
seen
the
that.
Pizza Underground and then weep at the folly that has been mankind.
He was going through something. I'm pretty sure.
Drugs at a very young age and a lot of money.
I mean, did you doubt it? Let's not get into the complexities of Home Alone and childhood fame. You know what I mean? Because we'll be here all day.
Of course. So we go up, and
no jokes went over well. The jokes
I didn't. I honestly didn't drop that many.
Okay,
I part of me was like
because the scene I'm picturing is honestly it is half of it. Don't do that. Half of it is like a lot of Boston women. I always picture. I say Boston women because a lot of the movies portray Boston women as like haggard. I'm not saying that that's what they. I'm just saying, like, haggard woman, and then just a man in a suit in the corner reading a paper as your stepdad dies.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, technically, mentally already gone, unfortunately.
oh,
right?
we're gonna get to that.
Oh, shit. He perked up at the end and was like, don't kill me! Like, what? No.
We'll get to that.
And then you shot him?
It's not.
Did you
No,
like,
no. I put a stake through his heart.
Thank
Come on
you.
now.
I knew you were fucking a vampire.
Yeah.
Go on.
All stepdads are fucking vampires.
Dude, you're too pale. The Irish are mostly vampires. I know you're Polish, but you look so Irish. Sorry, keep going.
His side was Irish. It's my stepdad.
See,
none of my blood. Although my dad's side was Irish. Anyway, so we go up there and we're all just facing the enormity of what's going to happen.
Right.
And finally, we're there for like an hour, and then finally the doctor comes in. It's like, all right, we're gonna do this. Head out in the hall while we remove the breathing tube because you're gonna hear a lot of lung butter, and you don't really want to see that.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
And everybody's crying. We're very much faced with the enormity. Like what I kept having, I've never had cries like this. These were like my first real man cries.
What were you doing?
No.
What were your cries?
My man cries were like, you know, like it's okay. He's gonna be in a bed.
Oh, really? Oh,
anyway,
dude,
so then like tears down my eyes, but I just had that like half second, just like strain your butthole real tight. Just,
yeah.
I'm still crying, but I'm in control.
I call that the breathing pull. It's the old breathing pull. Oh,
That's
I got it. Now it's good. That's all right. God damn it. Goddamn touchdown. Good job, son. God damn it. Woo! Your grandfather be proud.
It's funny you said touchdown because I've already written bits around this.
Right.
And one of the things I have is, again, all these guys die young. My dad died at 46. My stepdad just died at 58. And nothing.
It's funny you said that, but I just want to go just for a quick plug. I want to say, everybody, make sure to check out Unnamed Person, because you didn't name Unnamed Person's Beautiful Jams and Jellies. I want to push this right in the middle of this great story that I want to push. This is actually the death jelly that she gave me. I think it was born right on top of your stepdad's belly, if I remember that correctly. She made it on top of his belly, if I'm not incorrect. I'm gonna keep going. With a bit. Yeah. Not hanging myself. I'm not out to dry right now, dude. I'm fine with it. This is actually made inside of his belly button, and it's pretty good. Let me cut to me just so you guys can really see.
Because, guys, death doesn't have to be the end. Many things can spring from death. Like the warm yeast that exists in a dying man's belly button.
And honestly, this is 3% hair. Most of it, though, is fetus. And let's get back to our program already continuing with Jesse's story. Let's go back. There we go. And hey, that plug was easy and
Is
done.
this how you feel when I say fucked up shit?
So that's a little sample of what it feels like. But honestly, if I didn't do that, it felt weird.
I guess.
I apologize. But
it is a fun podcast about death, and hey, we happen to have
we don't have enough fun with the death that we do. Well,
Exactly.
and you know what? I'm using you as a guinea pig, which I want this podcast to always be. But I want to say, I think there is a lot of stuff in here that we want to joke about that is dark. It's meant to be dark. And I wanted to make sure to do it right in the middle of you crying. I wanted to make sure we do a plug for. Am I not supposed to say her name now? What is going on with that?
Just for this episode, because we're talking about miscarried fetuses and shit like that.
Oh, okay.
You can hear her name on any other episode.
Yeah, I don't know if she makes delicious jam I'm going to eat on toast tonight, probably. So, but anyway, all right. Yes,
it's delicious. I ate all of mine in the middle of the night after drinking because that's how my digestive.
I'm gonna call it peas marmalade.
There you go.
Peas marmalade is all made from the best of the jelly bellies.
Sweet lady peas uterus scrapings.
Well, now you're just getting good.
Yeah.
Go ahead, buddy. So you're outside crying and he's dying. Go ahead.
Right. So we all come back in for the last part. And my mom had mentioned a few times, like, he looks mostly fine. He looks like passed out, like he had too many. Like, oh, well, he did kind of have too many.
You've only seen him that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of the time. So, yeah.
But, and again, just want to put out there, yeah, he was a drinker, and it really wasn't good for his health. But he was always consistently a good guy. Like, you know what I used in the days to follow? And I couldn't use this in my eulogy because it was too much. And
doing a trash walk back?
Not quite that, but what I kept saying was my stepdad was a golden retriever of a man.
Sure.
In that he was lovable and loving and loyal, but he also was going to shit on the floor and go through the garbage too much. And that's honestly how I got over a lot of my childhood resentment of him, is just he's a simple guy. He couldn't fucking help himself. He was pretty if those were his baser urges, he was a pretty decent guy because they weren't that bad.
Right.
But, just typical stepdad shit.
Yeah. No, I mean, it definitely seems like somebody who was, unfortunately, a victim of their diet kind of solely. Like, I mean, it seems like a good guy. It just seems like he just did not treat himself.
No, he did not. He got hooked very early on, like some people I might know. That asshole who looks at me in the mirror in the morning. Fuck that guy.
Son of a bee.
I'm strong. It's that guy's weak.
Oh, don't do that. I mean, that's like me.
I can't sleep without it, Neil. Sleep is important to health. Livers aren't. You can last 36 years without a liver. Did you know that?
It's a shame that the odds is how true this is. Okay, sorry. Straight. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead, buddy.
So we go in, and the breathing tube is out, and he has the really hitched little bit of breathing. This is like the last thing that's still somewhat alive in his brain. It's just like the little bit of death rattle.
Yeah.
And we know it's not going to last long. Again, his brother's off in the corner. He doesn't want to deal with this. So it's his two sisters, my mother, and me. And my mother is on one side holding his hand. I'm on the other side holding his hand. The two sisters are at his feet. And just like,
holding his toes.
Exactly. Yeah. Doing this little.
Dude, you should really cut these. These are.
This
you
little.
shouldn't let him die like this. This
Little piggy felt nothing. This little piggy also felt nothing. This little piggy has no reflexes.
This little piggy's gonna get licked. He's just licking that little piggy.
Guys,
sorry, is that not what
guys? He didn't react to me licking his little piggy. He's really gone.
Hey, look at some of this pea jelly. She just put that beautiful pea marmalade on there. You just.
If your loved one is comatose, put a little peach marmalade on their toes. Bring them back to the good old days.
I am so
back
sorry
in
for
Cabo.
all the Foley artists out there that are just listening to this and just be like, "Oh, stop, please stop."
Neil, we are radio legends. I don't think you know that.
Of course. Sorry, continue.
But so we're sitting there and we're talking them over, like, it's time to go, Ken. We're here with you. We love you, etc., etc. And my mom's getting more like, crying.
I call this the death mantra.
Yeah,
because it is. It's something that happens in the crowd, not for it's done for them,
right?
But it is for also us.
Yes,
in the living world. Yeah.
My stepdad starts opening his eyes.
Shit.
And my immediate thought is, I should not have come. I don't want to fucking see this.
Yeah.
He's about to go out like a blank-stared, twitching fish.
So the death
Until
rattle
his heart stops.
can be a real problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
He focused his eyes on my mom.
Right.
Like
okay.
eye contact.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Focused. And my mom just grabs his cheeks. She's like, "It's okay, baby. It's time to go. It's time to go. You know, follow your mother.
Right.
You know, who had preceded him, etc., etc. You know, we love you so much, but it's time to go. It's time to go." And he closes his eyes, and he opens them again, and he looks out the window to like a blank space in there. And then at this point, he's taking a breath every 30 seconds, and then he closes his eyes. And he stops.
Yeah.
And that was fucking crazy to see. I know we can say reflex or response, but like whatever little bit of him was in there still, like focused on my mom and gave her that. Like I can't imagine being her right now, like literally staring into a dead man's eyes. I wouldn't. I was praying like, don't look at me. She's fine. I'm cool. You looked at me enough. That's fine.
Just looks at you. Why did you take out the trash? Sorry.
Oh god.
Why did you take out the trash?
I drank because of you. Oh god.
I fucking hate your dogs. I fucking hate you.
It was funny, but before we actually pulled the plug, he was a big darts enthusiast, so we had a thing on the side with like pictures of him and little knickknacks, and there was a dart, and for whatever reason,
the fat man sport.
That's right, and for whatever reason, before we pulled the plug, I wanted to put the dart in his fingers, just like that, just in case there's some reflex memory, just like hey, still got it. Yeah.
Then he moonwalked.
Then he moonwalked his way out, just showing his fucking flappy open ass back. Yeah. And
I get you, man.
Yeah, and
it's very similar. I mean, no, go ahead. I apologize.
But no, and then he died, and we sat there, and I could feel his hands starting to go cold. To actually watch the color change is weird. To just go,
there's an eye sync and stuff that happens that is no
after a little bit his jaw went slack, my mom was literally like holding him up, and I wanted to go like,
you gotta
Kenny, what do you got to say to nice people? Hi people.
God damn it, you fucking asshole.
This is why I have the sense of humor in the family, and my mom had no instinct. She's just like, let me just pop this up so I can just look at him for a second and just not think about it.
No. Just I'm thinking of his O face. Think of his O face. Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, shit.
Lord.
Come on, man. These are the parts of life. That's what you got to do.
But here's a weird thing you don't think of in the moment, but it just kind of naturally develops.
Yeah.
There is a priority on who is the last person in the room, but it's not discussed.
So this gets annoying to me. Yes. Please continue.
Like, for me, it was... The words I used were, this is as dead as I'm comfortable seeing him. Because he'd gone gray and his jaw was slack. It's like, okay, I need to leave now and leave the other people with him. And just automatically, I left, and then his two sisters left, and then my uncle left the room, so my mom had a moment, and then he came in and had his final moment, and then my mom went back in, and the last one was him and her. But at the same time, must be said, there were plenty of really dumb friends who thought they belonged in that room at the last minute, and they weren't allowed in at any point. This leads to an even greater moment. Neil, we had to bounce somebody from the funeral. We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Okay. Gotcha.
So yeah, he fucking...
The drink. No, go ahead. Sorry.
So yeah, no, it's just... watch him died, and it was particularly I think with my mom, which I wasn't expecting. It was the words I've been using, and I think it was the most horrifying, amazing, beautiful thing I've ever seen. It was fucking...
Yeah. How much... I mean, was there a ton of flailing and stuff? Was there... Or was
No
it
flailing.
more just eye? It was just the eye. That's what surprised you guys.
It was all eye. We weren't expecting... He hadn't opened his eyes for a week and a half. There was no medical reason he shouldn't have been able to.
Well,
other than the brain damage.
Yeah. So, I mean, you would contest that... I mean, I would contest. I'm not trying to rain on anyone's parade here, obviously. And the parade is also a black parade.
Are you telling me... When I was a young boy, are you telling me that my stepdad's soul did not briefly re-enter his body to give us one last meaningful moment of existence before following his mother unseen into the great beyond?
You know what?
You're saying my grandma wasn't in that vague corner?
Probably not. No. But no, I get you. Yeah, there's a lot to read into, and I'm not trying to again, but those things also though, I'm not surprised that but those instances, that's not even, I don't even want to state a case on why it matters. It doesn't matter. What matters is that, I mean, he passed somewhat, what I'm trying to figure out here is if he passed somewhat peacefully. So there was no flailing, which is good because
no, there was no struggle.
My grandmother flailed a lot and it was, so
my grandmother too. They said my grandmother went out like a wild animal.
Well, I mean, you're in those death throes. I mean, that's what I'm guessing. See, what people don't realize about death is that that's normal. Like that,
right.
the brain is seizing in a lot of ways. So I'm not surprised that the eyes open. I actually wasn't there when my dad passed. I was on the way, so I don't know. But he was. See, now this is what I'm saying. Country. I don't have. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, so I have no idea. But he didn't open his. He passed eyes closed.
Right. And that is exactly what we were anticipating.
Right. You were definitely
it's a joke, but it freaked me the fuck out when he started opening his eyes.
Well, I believe I think what's happening there is they didn't know the extent to the brain damage. I'm not trying to, again, I don't know.
They did run an EEG, and the doctor, it's so funny. My mom was so hopeful.
Doctor was like, he's got 50% of his brain left. I don't know if is that good?
Right.
Bad. This is not.
It was almost one of those.
But
like,
I'm wondering.
It shows no brain activity, but I mean, guys like this Eagles fan, did he ever have any to begin with? We like to fuck around here. No, he's not coming back. Anyway,
Jesus. Well, I mean, if he's a Dallas fan, then it's a real good brain. He's got a great brain. So you were expecting that, and then for that to happen, you're like, this is all that is religion. This is God.
Yeah, no, that was the fucking God.
I know it feels like something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was also particularly because I was right there. It's because I was right there on the precipice of like, I'm about to see for a fact there is nothing because he's going to die like a dumb fish, and I'm going to see it all. I'm about to see death.
Have I done a terrible disservice to you?
What?
Oh my God. Well, you don't die like a dumb fish either. It's not.
When he opened his eyes, I thought I was going to watch literally just the shell, just like death robbed with any beauty.
There are some of those where it happens like that. I'm kind of happy in a lot of ways that you got to see actually what happened, whatever in my very limited knowledge that. He might have, again, because of the extent of the brain damage was understood, he obviously couldn't regain his consciousness and that. But whatever that was, I'm not surprised that towards the end, when the breathing is limited, the brain is sending serotonin and DMT, that he opens his eyes. I'm not surprised about that. Mind you, I'm very happy that kind of happened because it sounds like it had a very beautiful moment, however tragic.
Right.
That is for your mother.
But it was expected tragic. We knew at least that was happening. So
wait, no, you didn't know that was going to happen.
Well,
he was going to open his eyes.
But I mean, the tragic part was we knew he was going to fucking die.
I'm sorry. Yes. Well, yeah. Obviously, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, what I was saying was it's unexpected that he was going to open his eyes and do that. So I'm actually happy that kind of happens in some ways. That can be very cathartic. For the person to be like, oh shit.
Particularly watch him just lay there with his fucking eyes closed for.
Right.
And actually, I'll be honest with you, when we first went in, when me and my brothers first went in to visit him, his eyes were like kind of like half open. And that was really disturbing because that was when he just looked like a piece of meat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trained, I guess, from the kind of hospital that I've been in, and I don't know the amount of hospitals I've been in, people have died and stuff like that. Anytime you're seeing someone, I mean, you just know nothing. So it's just that's just what I'm used to. So when you walk in, just try to, if you have a view of someone. Yeah, I know it's a bummer. That sounds like a bummer if you're just like, oh, his eyes are half open. Like, what's happening right now?
Right, yeah.
Like, that's okay. Is he like feeling pain? You don't want them to feel pain, right? So that can be. I'm sorry that happened. Yeah, if you're feeling awkward about that one, that's tough.
And I do have a little guilt over it.
Is he trying to watch an Eagles game right now? Like, what is just on the slant?
Oh, well, that was I was going to say is that I did write the joke, but I do think it's important. Is that nothing kills working class white men quicker than a long-suffering sports team finally winning the big one.
Right.
It's all they've been living for a long time.
I agree.
After the Super Bowl, he was on borrowed time.
Yeah.
So
I agree. No, I agree with that. That is absolute. That might be scientific fact.
Yeah. No.
That might be. I mean, we might want to cross-check like a bunch. There's got to be.
Right.
Hey, listen, Temple. I haven't gone to your school, but check. I mean, I think we need to study.
Somebody look into that.
Somebody just check at the blue collar men in the town and how much life they lose every time we don't win a championship or do win a championship.
We're all super excited for the Flyers this season, but it might mean that every Peepaw and Pop and Uncle Al doesn't make it to 2020.
I've found that we've won, and I see the.
I remember I read a news article once about somebody who was like slowly dying, and they told him during his final moments that like Trump got impeached.
Yeah, we've all heard this.
Which I even had a fun one too. Back when I worked at the pizza place, one of my last days there.
Or even a team won. I've heard those stories like, oh yeah, they won or some stuff. It's like,
but even unrelated to death, I still thought that was great. I was leaving the pizza place I worked at once, and we found a guy just like fucking face down in the middle of the road, like bigger fella. So we go over and we roll him over, like, buddy, you okay? And he's breathing.
Check out these lines.
Exactly. I really appreciate this pay work. Somebody's giving extra.
This dotted line is huge.
And like his nose was busted up and his forehead was busted up from like bleeding. But we get him in there and the cops show up. He starts coming to, and it becomes clear. He's diabetic. He didn't take his shit today.
Yeah.
And they're asking this question like, "What's his name?" Like, Jim. He's like, "Where do you live?" Like, Spencer Street. And it's like, "Who's the president?" He goes,
Card.
"That fucking asshole." Like, that was a really cool moment. I dug that.
No, yeah, that's always a goodie.
People remember their political background very, very quickly.
Snapping into it. Yeah.
But from there, we all left, and I hugged my mom.
I want to stop on a point there because there is that.
You want to stop to pick over my stepfather's corpse? Go ahead.
A little bit. Just little pieces. I'm just a little vulture, dude.
Neil the Ravenwood.
Just picking over those bones. When you said that there was kind of an awkwardness in who was going to have the last moments.
Oh, well, no, that's the thing. There wasn't an awkwardness. It kind of naturally filed itself.
Well, that's
for
good.
me, it was very much now is my time to leave and leave the people.
That's good. See, now I've always found that a lot of that is, I hate the awkwardness around death a lot of the time. It's like the worst awkwardness ever because people are like, judging, they're like, oh, well, I need to be here for them for the brief second that you come in, or I can't be the last one. I have to be the last one to leave and stuff. There's so many times in there where we're like over calculating. It's just based off instinct. I get it. But it's just like, I'm standing over my dad's, dead body and, people are like expecting me to act a certain way. Mm-hmm. And that's just not. I'm gonna act the way that I'm gonna act. It's not gonna.
How did you act?
It's not gonna act. I mean, there was a lot of head shaking. There was a lot of like up and downs, like he's gone, like that kind of thing. And as is the eyes sink in, as you said, and the chin comes down and stuff like that. I propped up his chin. I was like, "You go, kid." I did one of those. Did one of those little.
He's looking at you, kid.
He's looking at you, kid. And I, of course, I had a little tear, a little tear in there. But like, there was people looking back at me who are openly weeping, who I don't. I don't know, there's that.
As sad as you are in the moment, though, when you watch a son with his father's body,
sure,
they are, as bad as everything is, they're watching a play for a moment.
Right.
And they want to see your response.
That makes sense. Yeah. But
not to coin a phrase, Neil, but life is but a stage. And all of us are the players. And some of us aren't players. We just fuck a lot.
We just hate the game. What? Is that how it is?
We went two different routes.
Is that okay?
You went with don't hate the player, don't hate the player, hate the game. I went with I'm not a player, I just fuck a lot. Which I think is from Big Pun, also no longer with us. Everybody misses him so much, and they forget that video of him pistol whipping his wife.
He 100% hit his wife with a gun.
And actually, I don't know if we can get the video up. It's actually adorable. Because he has like a sudden "do I want to be gangsta" moment because he's holding this pistol and he hits her with this gun like he's the Fonz trying to turn a jukebox on. Like he's just like, I've seen other people do this. I'm gonna try to, and just gives her like a light whack. He's like, that felt pretty good. I'm gonna go have my heart explode because I'm 400 pounds and we celebrate for that for some reason. Big Pun. I think he'd be better off with pistol whip.
Oh.
But all right, Big Pun. Pistol. Not Bristol.
What did I put?
Big Pun pistol whips wife video.
Oh, shit.
Man, I don't think any of us are expecting us to go over here.
I'm trying to see from here. Pistol. No, this is that's not how you spell
whip. That's how you spell pistol.
That's how you spell pistol. Why isn't it popping up?
Pistol whips wife video. Down.
There we go.
Are you trying to add like the anatomy of the flower?
No. You shut your fucking mouth. I'm gonna make your fucking.
Here it is.
Any stepdad you get in the future, I'm gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah, first or second.
First or second. Let's try. We are now watching an assault video based on.
It's adorable. He's so baby steps into pistol whipping his wife. All right, 42 seconds in it said, so drop it into like 40.
Oh.
And again, this is somebody who has missed heavily in the hip hop community. All right, so where is it? No sound? There it is. Yeah, he holds up and like he like bitch slaps her with a pistol.
Jesus Christ! And he walks over to the couch, big screen TV.
I'm not a player. I just crush a lot.
Jeez, just to sit down. What a.
And by the way, I'm pretty sure this is her talking about it like, he pistol whipped me in the face.
I mean, we don't know how she sounds. I mean, she's probably just happy to make it out. She's very, you're like, yep.
The point is his heart
sling
exploded.
blade over there. Yeah, who knew the guy in the Kangoo hat would be Kangoo? What's
Kangle.
Kangle? Whatever the fuck nonsense. Yeah, sorry, I didn't get that.
Oh, dude, there's an old clip from MTV in like the early 80s when people were still figuring out hip hop, and somebody was talking, like, it was a hostess, and she was talking to like one of the dancers, like the B-boys, like, how do you rock your Kangol hat? He says, I rock it fresh, and it's like a white dude, and just like, this is a turn, like, he's saying I rock it fresh as if like, no, at a 45-degree angle, perched precipitously on my brow, and then I go out there and I bust moves.
I bust all the moves all the time.
I'll have you know I am certified in move busting. I took night school.
I love like NPR, but when they're talking about rap,
oh my god,
so good. We can't get into it. We can't.
Why do they not? I don't understand why NPR talks to like. By the way, so sexism is bad and homophobia is bad. Now the new hit song "Bitches Be Fags" by. I think it's a real work of art on the level of Dylan. So here is Bitches Be Fags by...
Dear God.
That's what a lot of it is.
We're supposed to play this for people? Come on.
The Magical Misery Tour is a humorous exaggeration of real life. And
brought to you by Jesse Draham.
By Jesse's girlfriend's uterine scraping. Get that stem cell solution. So my stepdad's dead.
Yeah, your stepdad's dead. No, but I mean, we need to get into. So while I go, you definitely don't want to know, but we have to get into funeral bouncing and stuff. I want to hear.
That's right.
Tell the listener for the time being. Let me just hear because I want to know what what preparation? Because this is important. This is always very important when a death happens. Thoughts on preparation beforehand. So I'm guessing, did you guys work out some things like, did he want to be actually like coffin and stuff?
He had told my mom, please don't cremate me.
Okay.
And I get that. I don't want to be cremated. I can't.
Really?
I can't explain it. But here's the thing. I don't really want to be embalmed either. I want to be thrown.
That's a nightmare.
I want to be thrown in a ditch, and I want the bugs to eat me, and I want to fuel the nitrates in the soil.
It's illegal.
You take me on an Indian reservation, there are no laws there because we were terrible to their people.
Yeah, we gotta like take you to Wyoming or something. There's not like any.
At the last minute, on my deathbed, I want a Cherokee chieftain to induct me into the clan. They're clans, right? GLES.
Eagle.
We rest the soul of Brother Jesse to Mother Eagle. EAGLES Eagle. I really think they're gonna make it this year. If Wentz can just stay healthy. We pray to Brother Wolf. Keep Ginger Carson Wentz healthy. EAGLES Eagles. This is your Tasty Cake 2-minute warning challenge. I don't know what to do with Neil in the room. Where am I? Yeah. So, it was really fucking sad. Dude, I want to get away from this shit in my comedy. I want to write fun. All my shit is about sex or death, and it's too fucking much. We went and had a sober show tonight. I do occasionally. I run fundraisers for sober clubhouses. I'm not sober, but a lot of my family is, so it's a good in. And just to watch I'll promote everybody who went up there. Matt Byrne, Elena Clune, Dan Clark, Seamus Millar, Joe White, Jillian Markowitz. 2 little girls in the crowd. We'd heard them singing and harmonizing all night. We threw them up. They sang a song from a musical. I want to get funny like them because, like I said, I started the show hosts are really supposed to get into it. Let me tell you how I wanted my stepfather dead most of my life, and my wish finally came true. I'm not good at this. I need to become a better comic. I've considered abandoning this show a few times. I'll be very honest with you. It's because even though death is the stuff I want to talk about and all the dark shit, it's not always what the people want to hear. And if the people don't want to hear, then
stalling too long. I can tell you've been stalling too long.
I got into Israel-Palestine.
Oh no!
It's very easy to see who to support.
It's such a simple solution.
Look at it.
If you just pull out. You know what I mean? Yep. If you just pull out that way, you know what I mean? You look them right in the eyes, you take off the condom. Mm-hmm. All right.
That's still one of my favorite all-time Kurt Metzger jokes. Is have you ever just fallen down a Wikipedia hole and tried to personally solve the Palestine-Israel thing? Just needs a fresh set of eyes.
Yeah. It's just a detective story waiting to happen.
Exactly.
An easy, fresh. It was the guy in the...
This is a whodunit from the biblical age.
Yeah, I mean, really. Where did we leave off? Well, I wanted to know what was the fucking dealing with the whole funeral. So apparently
I can just give a real quick because it ended up falling into my eulogy. Everybody was meeting up at his sister's house afterwards. I stopped at my mother's house first, the home they shared for 20 years, and my stepdad was a carpenter. And I really liked walking around that house just because my mom put it, his fingerprints are all over my house. Because he fingered everything. Now, he built a lot of it. My mom and dad bought it. Don't give me an angry bull face. Fucking Chicago Bulls logo. I could see you with
Chicago Bulls!
I would love to see you with a septum piercing. It would throw off the whole thing.
You think it'll throw off the whole thing? Because
I think it would be. I think it would be shocking yet fitting.
You don't like this white boy country look that I got going on? Like white boy in the city, urban country look?
The septum piercing would be the curveball, I want to say.
It would be.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Here's the thing, though. What is this called? I saw somebody. There's a septum piercing, which I'm familiar. I hope if you're not familiar with a septum piercing, I hope we all know what that is. I mean, I'm just going to, right? So, where am I? Yeah, here.
Yeah.
Nose.
The bull piercing. The bull ring.
Right in there, right? Saw someone smiling and noticed that they had a similar one underneath their fucking in here. So they just had a little bull piercing popping out underneath. And I was like, what the fuck is pierced? What are you? So they're piercing the fucking undermeat. I'm sorry for my language as well. I don't know why I'm cursing so much. They're piercing like under that little thin. If you ever reach
that little
underneath,
frenulum.
Bless your heart,
dude. My favorite piercing I've ever seen. Put the camera on me.
Yep, gotcha.
Is there are people who get the plugs. They get them in their lower lip, and it's just a clear see-through plug. So all the time you can just see their fucking teeth.
Oh, I have not seen that that often.
Fucked up.
Wow. I have not seen that.
I saw a girl on
so
OK.
they're gauges,
Yeah,
pretty much, but just like.
What's funny? I saw a girl on OK Cupid with that, and I thought like, no fucking thank you, never ever ever. And then I was looking for places on Facebook recently, and she was looking for a roommate. Her name was Astrid.
Interesting.
So she was kind of doomed for this life from day one.
Yeah, really.
So he's dead. I go to my mom's house and I walk on the deck that he built. I look at the house. The house was a simple rancher. He built the whole second floor. And I went into the tree house he built me when I was a little boy.
All right.
That he built to win me over, and it worked.
All these exposed nails.
And we have a dog now that's really crazy adventurous. The dog climbed up the ladder into the tree house. Just giant fucking pit bull. Yeah. So the bouncing at the funeral. There is a guy who dated my aunt for a while. Not a good guy. He smacked her around a little bit, that kind of shit. Fucked up. He went to prison for a bit, not for smacking around my aunt. Him and my aunt.
That was a misdemeanor? What happened?
No. Him and my aunt were at a party. She had gone upstairs to fall asleep. He'd gone upstairs and found another guy at the party feeling her up in her sleep. And he beat this guy enough that he went away for a while. He was also just a really uncomfortable guy.
That feels like a gimme. Isn't that a gimme? I thought that was a gimme.
Here's the thing, though. You're imagining a regular guy. This is a guy who at parties like, oh, hey, Jess, I heard a lot about you. Yeah, they tell me all sorts of things. Like, oh, yeah, no. Come here a little closer. Yeah, get a little comfortable.
Yeah. Also, high voice, terrifying. Big guys, high voice.
Little guy.
Oh, little guy, high voice.
Little guy.
Danger.
Little guy.
That is dangerous. Big guy, high voice might be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Might be okay. Could be absolutely the worst person you ever met. Little guy, high voice. Get the fuck out of there. That is just an experience that I've had.
He shows up at my mom's house. My mom's not home. My youngest brother is home, 22. And this guy shows up and...
Hey, he already died!
And according,
they always sound... Yeah.
And according to my brother, opens the door and both the dogs are all over him and he's just too fucking dumb to be afraid of the dogs that outweigh him. And he just said, this man is clearly in a one-man play all the time. That's how he behaves. He's just not dumb enough to notice it. And my brother was over, he's like, is it true? My brother says, oh yeah, he's dead. And he immediately just starts screaming in my yard, fuck! Pussy! Fuck! Shit! Like enough that he did this long enough, the neighbors all came out.
Jesus. Hey, Glenn, can you not come back, Glenn? Jesus.
Oh, what? But he's like, after he gets through this and he gets through his grieving, he was like, you got to tell me anything I can do to help. You want me to? I'll mow the lawn right fucking now. Where's the lawnmower?
This one.
That bush could be trimmed.
This one man play piece of shit. I fucking hate him.
So there's a few people who we say are not allowed at the funeral, and we post. There's cops in the family. We post an undercover cop at the door. My one uncle.
Sorry?
Yeah, we post an undercover cop at the door. Like this, and this. Not allowed.
Wow. That's a little over the top, don't you think?
We don't fuck around, man.
What is that? No. Don't do this. Don't do this. No, don't. Oh, you're being a dickhead. You're being an absolute. This is that kind of bullshit small town power.
The three people not allowed.
Go ahead.
One is the woman who really fucked up my family with my nephew that we talked about. Fuck her.
Yeah. That lady should know not to come around.
Well, you know what it is? Her boyfriend had worked with him a number of times.
Who gives a shit?
She was the lowest on the threat that we didn't consider.
Yeah.
The other one was a woman called GC.
Sorry?
GC is short.
No, I heard you.
Short for gaping cunt.
What?
That was the family nickname.
That's not a real name then for her.
This was my stepdad's friend that he got close enough with that ruined his and my mom's marriage.
Fuck.
My mom always said, like, I tolerated the alcoholism.
Who's Gumar?
Here's the thing, though. He said he never ever admitted to her, like, she's just my friend. She's just my close friend. And then one day I was in, like, my mid-20s, and I was very honest. I'm like, Ken, if she was just your friend, it's even fucking worse because you ruined your marriage and you weren't even getting any fucking pussy out of it. And he had nothing to say to that.
Yeah.
Again, I love the man. He was
a
simple man, and he
misogyny,
made simple man mistakes.
It is kind of true.
It's kind of true. If you're gonna fucking.
Because if you're ruining
Neil, I
marriage,
love you. I'm not throwing away a marriage on you.
Exactly. That is insane. I mean, it's either something or it's nothing, and then why are you doing this? Right? Like that's insane.
And then the last one was this asshole. So I'm up in the receiving line. I wasn't up there as much as I should have been. I was actually bouncing around because I'm antsy.
He's just a man of the theater.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that sad? He's just a man of the theater.
Broadway in his blood.
That's such a bummer. All right, keep going.
Show me the lawnmower, I wanna help. In his memory, I will clip.
Hit it, boys.
Pruning for the deceased. Ha ta ta ta.
He's in heaven or hell. No one knows.
I'm in the receiving line, and suddenly I go to my brother like, isn't that fucking guy in line? Yeah, that's him. Somebody's already on it.
The undercover cop. You hired a fucking
Here's
undercover.
Here's what happened.
He went for donuts?
No.
He went for undercover donuts? Did he go for undercover donuts?
He went for undercover donuts. And suddenly the music went from playing Tears in Heaven to... My uncle...
Well, he went for donut holes.
No, my uncle...
All right, you got it.
My stepdad's brother-in-law went out for a cigarette, and this little guy, he was just too slippery. He just went right... He like went...
be able to get in here.
He like went right through his legs, and I was like, no. But he slithered right past him, and he's like, dude, we don't want you here. Didn't say anything, just went there. And I actually felt bad because I didn't know that when I just saw him in line, and he looked like he was waiting respectfully. And then we just see this cop come, and the cop just comes with like the most hardcore do-si-do you've ever seen. Just hooks him underneath.
Oh, really?
And just drags him out. The guy didn't yell or anything. I was very surprised.
Not surprised.
I'm
not surprised.
He physically, like I said, he hooked him and he collared him.
Right.
So that might have been, I didn't see the full thing. That might have been an old-fashioned fucking belt and collar.
Yeah.
Because he was late enough. You could get some distance on him.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to see.
See, now in those moments with like our family, I feel like we would placate. We would actually like let it happen to an extent, but everyone would like you'd see people swarm and then like rein him in after he got. Because this is just the viewing, correct? Or is this the actual
No.
funeral? There was no viewing?
We did everything in one shot because it was very upsetting. We didn't want to do
everything
it twice.
in one shot doesn't help me because usually it's the viewing then
it was a viewing and a funeral. It was all one day.
Right.
We
Oh, no, I agree. Okay.
So this is during the viewing portion.
There are some people that break that up. I don't know why.
Right.
Just fucking knock it out in a day. Why are we doing this?
Well, I could tell you, I actually really regret not doing it at my dad's funeral. I did it all in one day. My dad was a working man, and a lot of his friends just couldn't take off work for it, and they couldn't show up to pay their respects.
And you know what? That's a bummer. But at the same time, wait, hold on. That's a problem because if there are a lot of working men, that means that you do the viewing is always like late at night.
Oh, well, but that's the thing. We didn't do that.
Oh.
The way we did my stepdad's funeral is we did the viewing and the funeral all Friday morning. Friday morning? Right. Yeah, all Friday morning.
I keep forgetting you can't bury people at like midnight. I keep forgetting. I'm sorry.
Which I think they should change those laws.
That's how I do it. That's how I do it.
It's a solo project. I don't need the documentation.
I honestly just really am regretting the fact that I just thought. Yes, no, that is helpful for that. That's right. Yeah, if you do the viewing, like, hey, and then the next. Well, it's usually though the next day. I don't know. There's some people that have broken it up like, hey, the viewing's Sunday and then we're burying on Wednesday. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing right now, dude?
I don't like it.
Why? Like it's usually the viewing at night is very helpful because it lets all the arterial people like the the extraneous.
There's no excuse not to come.
Yeah, just get in, just like pop in. I'm very sorry for your loss. Get the fuck out.
Exactly.
And it lets them, it lets all the family feel that support.
I did that with. I told you there was a child. There was a childhood acquaintance of mine who fucking killed himself 3 days before Christmas.
Right.
Made a big thing about it on Facebook.
Just did not like what he got. Oh, sorry. a few days before, which is why that joke doesn't actually work.
No, it worked anyway. But I told you that was one of the saddest things ever because I just seen on Facebook he was getting more and more upset about shit and pissed off at women, etc. And then like December 19th, he just posted one of those picture things where it was white text on a red background. It just said, "Sorry." And fucking
yeah. Oh, noose.
I think I think noose.
We're not sure.
They kind of had his neck covered up.
Jeffrey Epstein kind of situation. They just found him.
Yes. They had his neck covered up. They buried him in a hoodie. Again, working man.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Wow, but I stopped in for just the viewing on that.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. Let's move on.
Well, no, it might have been a thing. Like number one, working class, so just like bury him in his work clothes, kind of thing.
Always, that was that's just very much the working class neighborhood I'm from. It's always the best suit. It's always
we did this suit too. This might have been a little less than working class.
Yeah, I got you.
But the other factor with that is just like nobody ever liked this guy, and he smacked around like my aunt. So nobody.
Oh, so this is the hysterical guy that we're talking about. Yeah. He had smacked around your fucking aunt?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that was the thing. We didn't want it. Nobody wants to shake this guy's hand.
No,
fuck this guy.
They don't want to shake.
My stepdad never even liked him. He was this piece of. My stepdad beat the shit out of him once.
Doing his voice right now.
I was like a lady corpse. I'm saying you got a corpse here. I gotta cut his nails. I want to help. Give me a shovel. I'll have it out there.
I can't even stand it.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I didn't know he smacked her on your aunt. Jesus Christ. Your aunt wasn't on fire if she was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was just like, get this fucking guy the fuck out of it. What the hell's going on right now?
I don't think she was around for it, but that was part of the
She wasn't around.
Another fun factor to all of this, my new girlfriend is meeting my entire family for the first time at a funeral.
No.
Yeah.
That's...
Here's the thing.
As long as you guys don't do that, well, it's a good news. You won't do the birthday song. That's fun. Because you won't have to see the witchcraft that you fucking Polish people get up to.
Stop it.
Stop it right now. I will shut this down.
He'll dig his way out later.
Ow. Polish magic. Sorry.
Well, here's the thing. If not for one little thing, I wouldn't have brought her. The week before, me and her had gone to see Smashing Pumpkins. And in the course of that night, we had to pick up the tickets from my mom. So she met my mom briefly. Right. And at the concert itself, she met my aunt, my cousin, and my nephew.
I think at this point, no, I think it's fine. It's just, what I was regressing to is I think it's fine. Because at this point, I think you guys have hit it off so well.
Right.
But I think it is a bummer, is what I'm saying.
It is.
It is a bummer.
It's on brand for me.
It is very much on brand for you. Yes, absolutely, of course. Yeah, you're crushing. It's like, listen, I would love to meet a woman right now, but I have to plan a death.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to really get a death.
But it was cool. She really got along with my family while they were there, and my uncle Rick, who's like the bad motherfucker of the family we all love. He like sat down and was grilling her, and as it was coming up, like, all right, so when he comes up, we
you want kids? Sorry, I'm thinking of a badass kind of
Kinda. He's Italian.
You want kids? No, whatever, dude. I don't know. Yeah. I'm just being too cool. I mean, you should have kids though. He's got a sweet dick, doesn't he? Just being weird, just like, what? What are you talking about right now? It's a sweet Irish dick. Yeah, I know he's not Irish, he's Polish, but still, it's like I have an Irish dick.
You haven't heard about Polish dick? It's fucking stupid fat. It's like
sorry.
It's like a.
I keep thinking you're Irish every time. I keep forgetting.
I look more Irish, but all my height and my gigantic fucking head is Polish. My nose is Polish too.
Yeah, I don't see it. I guess that. What is that? Never mind. I will compare Irish Polish noses later.
And actually, you know what? While we're talking songs, you know what I'm thinking? It might be time for because sometimes you're down and feeling weak. So relax with the depressive, suicidal black metal song of the week. This is another solicited one. Right. We put this out there. This is Malumejo, I don't know. And the song is called Worthless. Because that's how we all feel sometimes. I'm looking at this video and I need to dye my eyebrows again because they just disappeared into the blonde and pale.
No, they look good, dude.
Oh, wow. We went far. We got to wrap this up.
Yeah, well, I figured that was going to happen.
I have just such a good time hanging with my buddy Neil.
It's always a pleasure to have you, buddy. Always.
We've never spoken once off camera, off mic. I hate this
dude.
fucking
Honestly,
guy.
if I had to speak to you off camera, I would immediately want to join your stepfather.
Yeah, I'm smashing this fucking preserves right against his forehead before I leave. Just leaving a mark.
All right, so we are going to. I'm going to show my little display. Oh well, here, Jesse. Why don't you tell us just the name of the band and stuff? Did you already do that?
It is Malumehu Worthless. As a matter of fact, I might be able to pull up the Reddit where I was first asking for this. Yeah, here it is. It says, it is a lyrical video. The name of the song says it all. It is about being worthless. Lyrically, it is one of the most depressive and blunt things I have ever written. If you use it, let me know beforehand so I can discuss it with you. We probably should have called him.
Yeah, we should probably give him a little message. We'll try to message him. Yeah, in the interim.
Well, we'll have him call in. I honestly think the next step is we need to talk to one of these artists and get their.
Yeah.
We'll set that up. We'll set up a call in with Malumehu.
I would love the hell out of it. That'd be a lot of fun. I'm gonna bring this up slowly since I don't have on headphones. So I'm sorry if there's any problems here, folks. So let me know. All visual cues here. All right. So depressive suicidal black metal of the week.
I actually really like that with some of her stuff there. I like the very clean guitar over the very distorted guitar. And the lyrics are actually, they're a little less poetic, which I feel is actually, it's a bit more true to the feelings you feel when you're way down in the dumps like that.
I as someone who only heard it when you played it a little early on, I think it's one of the better ones that we've listened to so far. It's a little more dynamic. It's got, a little bit more of that to it.
And it might just be a little bit because I can read the lyrics, but I honestly think his voice is a bit more articulate than a lot of what we listen to, which I like. The lyrics are important in depressive suicidal black metal. I like that we could actually pick it out. Oof, buddy, I really got to piss. I got to be honest, I really got to piss.
Okay, well, why don't you just call it? Call it right there, dude.
Call it? Okay, so the funeral was sad, and don't watch people die. I wrote a eulogy, and the important thing to come back around on is I made the whole thing an allegory around that tree house and how he built it and how it stands strong today. And I'm sure
you'll talk about it later, and it's absolutely fine, bud. So there you go, dude.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, you know what? Yeah, quick wrap up. I gotta piss. That's the end of the podcast. Rest in peace, Kenny Lynch, stepdad. Rest in power.
Love you, buddy. See ya.
Later. I'm gonna go pee.
This has been a Drop Tent Media Production.